Yo, what's happening, YouTube family? 2K Mechanic back with another video for you guys. And in today's video, I'm gonna give you guys some tips on how you can build your custom jumper to fit whatever it is that you're trying to do from a shooting perspective. You know, as we go over, the releases, release speed, the blending, all of that. We're gonna go into, guess I gotta charge my controller. We're gonna go into what is all necessary to get that going. But before we get into that, please like up the video. This helps push the videos out to our current subscriber base, and also puts us in the algorithm. And then it also puts it out for content for people that are looking for this particular content. Shout out to all of the returning subscribers. I appreciate y'all. And if you're new to the channel, feel free to give our channel a subscribe. I post daily 2K content for current gen and next gen. So go ahead and tap in. All right, so let's get into it, y'all. So, I do another video showing you guys how to shoot a little bit better if you're having problems shooting. But in this video, we're just going to talk specifically about building your custom jumper. So before you do your custom jumper, the first thing I always like to do in the jump shot videos is you need to decide if you're an early shooter or a late shooter, right? I don't think very early is that great or very late is that great, depending on your latency. Right, if you have a lot of latency, you might want to try very early or very late. From what I understand, they just haven't been consistent. So I'm an early shooter, but it's a lot of people that like late. So you got to decide that first. And what this determines is your jump shot cue, y'all. What you're looking for in your jump shot. So no matter what jump shot you have, if you have it on early or late, it will change when you need to release the ball. So this is number one. This is the first step you want to do in deciding how you want to go about shooting. All right, so we'll switch this back to early. All right, let's go into the mod player. Let's get into the jump shot builder or creator, sorry. All right, second thing, you have to know, if you're 6'5" and under, then you're classified as a small. If you're 6'5", between 6'5" and 6'10", as this build is 6'7", you're classified as a swing. If you're above 6'10", you're classified as a big. What this does is it shifts some of the animations that you're able to get. So that's number one. You gotta figure out where you are. Some jump shots are for swings, some are for small, some are for bigs. Like for me, I don't probably get Steph Curry, Trae Young, and all the guard type jump shots because I'm on the swing. So that's number two. You gotta figure that out, which is pretty easy to figure out, right? It's by height. All right, number two, as you can see here, and we'll just load up one of the jumpers that I had. All right, so here's a jumper where if you look at the attributes, so all these bases are going to have certain attributes. And really, when you go with the attribute, for this one, it's an 88, but usually what determines your attributes more or less is your base. Like for instance, what I got, Scottie Pippen base. So for instance, if I go Eric, if I went to a Theo Pinson, then that would reduce my, my allotment, right? So your base really attributes to your release height and your time and impact. So if you have a good release speed and good defensive immunity, all you need to do is change your base, right? You change your base, and then that'll help you figure out, if you have a low, or depending on your attribute rating, mid-range or 3-point, that would determine, what bases you could use, right? So if you have under 80 3-point, then you want to look at, some other bases, right? So this one is really bad. So if you have a really low 3-pointer, then your time and impact is going to take a hit. And time and impact kind of impacts like the range of your green range to a specific, as well as people closing out how well you can green at. It's just based on if you're off a little bit, how much leeway do you have on your time and impact. And if I'm wrong on that, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But based on my experience in shooting, time and impact, if it's on the money, then you'll be good. But if you're a little off, if you have like a B plus, an A, then it kind of helps that time and impact a little bit better, right? So if you have a good jump shot, a good cue, then you can kind of be lax on the time and impact a little bit, right? So, but yeah, so this is what your base does. Your base determines your release height and your time and impact. Now as we move, we go over to release speed and the defensive immunity. And that's usually based around your releases, right? So what we have on here, we have Scottie Pippen, right? So on this one, this requires you to have an 88, but I have an A+ release because Scottie Pippen has a pretty high release. Then you got Klay Thompson, Oscar Robertson. These are highly rated releases, right? As far as speed and accuracy. So let's say if I wanted to change release 1, let's say we go Garrett Temple, right? That dropped me down to 85, and then my defensive immunity changed. My release height didn't change. My release speed didn't change, right? But my defensive immunity did change when I changed that, right? So as you can see here, I'm changing my release 1, and it's changing my release speed and my defensive immunity for the most part. All right. So, but yeah. All right. What did I have it on? I had it on. What did I have it on? Klay? Yeah, Klay. All right. All right. Let's look at release 2. Release 2 also impacts your release speed and immunity. As you can see, right, as the release speed changes, defensive immunity changes. When you go to a lower rated release, then your overall requirements change and your shot attributes change as well. So keep that in mind, right? So we just changed this with Shake, and we got a release speed, and the release height is still Scottie Pippen, so we got a good release height. And then Shake Milton doesn't have the greatest defensive immunity, but if you want a quicker shot, it's not a bad shot. Shake Milton is pretty good, right? So we got that Klay and Shake. All right. So that's pretty much, going over your releases and how that affects your release speed, defensive immunity, and pretty much all your shot attributes. All right, let's look at the blending, right? So when you change your release speed for this shot, as you can see, my release speed go down, of course, and my time and impact has a change to it, right? So, that's one thing to notice, but I say you always keep your release speed as high as you can. All right, let's talk about the animation blending. I'm gonna let y'all go. Animation blending can sometimes changes your shot attributes and also the shot requirement attribute, right? So if I change this over, let's go to the right with the blending some. As you can see, when I went to a 27-73 Shake Milton, my defensive immunity changed. And also, right, if you guys have been paying attention to my mid-range, when I went under a 40-60, instead of an 85, it went to 84. When you go to the right, a lot of times it decreases how much you need for the shot, depending on your releases, right? And the way I look at it is if you have a higher rated release and you go more to the lower rated release, then it'll decrease your attribute requirement, right? So if we go higher to the Klay, right, it changed our release speed, which is not what we want, but it changed our release speed and then also upped our requirement. You see what I'm saying? So that's something you want to be mindful of. If you get a good pair that you put together and you like the shot, but you don't have that particular requirement, all you got to do is maybe go left or go right and get the shot attributes you want with the requirement that you want. All right. So that's pretty much it. Wrapping up. Like I said, number 1, you want to look at if you have early or late release timing on your shot. Number 2, you got to make sure what your height is so you can see if you're a small swing or big. That'll determine what is available to you from a base and release standpoint. Number 3, I'm sorry, check your attributes, right? Your attribute requirement will tell you what combination you can use and you can't use. Then number 4, your base determines kind of your height and your time and impact. And then number 5, release speed and blending, right? So your release speed and defensive immunity are more so your releases, right? And then your shot attributes and your shot rating could change depending on your release speed and your animation blending. All right, that's it for this video. Hope this information helps you guys put together your own custom jumper. And if not, I have a whole catalog of jumpers. I do jumpers pretty much daily or every other day on this channel. So you guys can go through that. I got big swings, and then I'll start doing point guard jumpers sometime later on this week. So stay tuned for that. 2K Mechanic signing out. Appreciate you guys for listening and watching. And I will catch you guys on the next video. Peace, y'all.